welcome to another interesting edition of the Economy and Politics Show, where we discuss key developments in the economy as it affects the household. Today, we'll be looking at a development at the subnational level of governance, which a lot of Nigerians are not aware of. The discourse today is about the State's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability, Sustainability Program, SFTAS. What is it all about, and is it achieving the intent for which it was designed? I will bring you excerpts from the just concluded NGX Maiden Capital Market Conference, which featured two governors speaking on this topical issue. I know the words may be very huge, and if you take those words, it could really have effects, but it is very important that we get on to this conversation. But before we begin, let us give you a wrap of key events that occurred in the Nigerian economy space last week. The Federal Inland Revenue Service last week announced an additional and final 1-month extension of its waiver of penalties with effect from November 30th, and interest for companies with outstanding 2021 year of assessment companies' income tax returns. So it's a 1-month extension for those companies. The Central Bank of Nigeria released 2 new documents stating that the bank has automated Forms A and NCX accordingly. The e-Form A shall replace the hard copy of Form A for invisible transactions covering medicals, education, other remittances with effect from last week. And lastly, from last week, a key development was the Federal Ministry of Health informing Nigerians alongside the Nigerian Center for Disease Control on the new COVID-19 variant. Yes, the SARS-CoV-2 variant has now been designated a variant of concern and named Omicron, that's the name, by the World Health Organization, as advised by the Independent Technical Advisory Group on SARS-CoV-2 virus evolution. That means we still need to be vigilant. We go on a break, and when we return, we begin the conversation.
The ProShare mobile app, your non-stop access to financial and economic information. With the ProShare app, you can customize your preferred news and videos. You can also get access to latest financial and economic news. Watch videos related to business, economy, financial markets, and lots more. The ProShare app gives you in-depth market stats from the NSE, FMDQ, and NASD. That's not all. You also get real-time alerts. The ProShare mobile app. Information at your pace and in your space.
Welcome back. If you are joining us, it is the Economy and Politics Show, and our discourse today is the State's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability, Sustainability Program. In terms of concepts, the SFTAS focuses on strengthening the fiscal sustainability, transparency, and accountability of Nigerian states. The government program comprises of the following: the Fiscal Sustainability Plan, FSP actions to be implemented by state governments, and the Nigerian Open Government Program, National Action Plan, actions at the state level. The SFTAS is one of the reasons why states are able to access funding from the World Bank and other international development agencies. If you've been following the news, you see various states are receiving fundings now in scale because of this initiative. Now, prior to now, there's been a wide perception. I know that our viewers, you have your perceptions in Nigeria and across, that the state governments have not been doing much to build fiscal stability. Budget in its 2021 State of States reports released said that only 3 states, Lagos, Rivers, and Anambra, were able to navigate any headwinds that comes aside receiving federal allocation. So 3 out of 36 states can survive if FAC is moved out of the picture. The Nigerian Governors Forum, in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, are working to ensure that the Fiscal Sustainability Plan component of the nation's economic plan is strengthened to achieve the following: to improve accountability and transparency, increase public revenue, which is very important, rationalize public expenditure, which for me is very key, improve public financial management, which has been very poor, and achieve sustainable debt management, which is critical considering the times we are in the country. At the maiden NGX Capital Market Conference, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, His Excellency, Mr. Kayode Fatemi, Governor of Ekiti State, provided further insight on the SFTAS and how it has enabled fiscal governments for states in the country.
we have a revenue challenge. And if you have a revenue challenge, you have to look for creative means of raising capital to fund all those pledges you made to the citizens when you were campaigning for the office. And it's not enough to pay salaries. Salaries is not supposed to be a big deal. It is what you do to make your state a destination for investment that will make a difference. How do you raise capital to divest state-owned enterprises? How do you raise capital for the critical infrastructure that will be necessary for growth in the state? And how do you raise capital to ensure that the businesses that operate in the state can also access finance? So those are the reasons why the capital market is very critical, and states are raising bonds, states are raising promissory notes, states are raising all manner of finances, including even foreign direct investment. It's when you've created the enabling environment for that to happen that you're able to raise. But as I said in my remarks, the capital market needs to develop new frameworks of engagement beyond the traditional approaches to raising capital in the market. These fixated views on electoral cycles need to change to seeing governments as continuum. We need to move from 7-year frame of raising capital to 20, 30-year frame that can align with the development plans of states. We also need to look at new opportunities. I spoke about sparks inside there. And I'm glad that the MD CEO of NGX said they're already looking in that direction. And I think ultimately I also spoke about annuity PPPs that we're already discussing with institutions like the NSIA and InfraCredit. Those are the kind of innovative schemes that would enable states to come to the capital market and raise funds on a transparent and efficiently driven basis.
Some interesting insights from the chairman of the NGF. Listening to that speech, I'm particular about two things. He raised the peer review learning mechanism among states, which is a good thing that states are learning amongst themselves, and also the improvement on budget presentation by states. And I can tell you that this year, as at December 5th, following with all the various presentation of budgets by states, currently, over 75% of the states in Nigeria have submitted their budgets to the State House of Assembly for consideration. That is a significant improvement from last year. And this shows that the SFTAS, in a way, is working, and this improvement is an area for improvement, if you ask me, and the states have to take this seriously. So that's a positive from the SFTAS. But let's move on to this conversation and get further insight on how this is going to improve activities. It has also created an opportunity for governance at the subnational level. And His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State also shared how this SFTAS is repositioning states to be efficient in public finance and making them accessible to investments. Those are two very important issues also at the subnational level.
I think for us, we've gone beyond that. I mean, we're not even looking at, a lot of the assets that are moribund. We're looking at strategies to build new class of assets, to see how you can co-invest with private sector companies to build, new generation of opportunities. We're not looking at going and building breweries anymore. We're looking at how to position the states in the area of technology, for instance, partnering with private sector people. So those will be the new assets that will be created, and they automatically will be digital because we're going to be doing this with the private sector.
And then, of course, with less than 25 days to the year 2022, as people are gearing, it's a festive season, the global, regional, and national economic developments have reinforced the reasons why states should be strategic in their resource management and finances. Now, I want to give you some significant developments that will affect states and indeed the households in 2022. The first one, like we raised in our wrap-up last week, is the Omicron variant. If it spreads at a large scale, there will be global lockdowns, and that will impact on revenue of states because already, as a last assessment, the crude oil price is going down, and that will have effect on Nigeria. The review of the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee spread for states will boost revenue and will lead to improved capacity for the Budget 2022 implementation. So that's a positive. And then, of course, the subsidy removal implementation. This policy will lead to more funds for the states, enabling them to carry out more investments in infrastructure, social amenities, amongst others. And I hope the states will keep to that. And of course, you all know that's a pre-election year. So elections are big things, not just in the US, but Nigeria. 2 states, Osun and Ekiti, will be conducting gubernatorial elections, while political parties in the later part of the year will decide their presidential, gubernatorial, and National Assembly candidates for 2023. So now you understand. This will have impact on funds, projects, and socioeconomic activities because politicians will really want to build ground. So the SFTAS is a noble idea, but of course, there are 5 areas that state governments should explore to strengthen fiscal governance and enhance this program. First, it's important that they bring transparency to the procurement and privatization process at the subnational level. If that is done, it will also boost governance. Secondly, with uncertainties in the global and national economy, states need to prioritize projects that are viable and have real socioeconomic impact on the citizens. Example, if you put over 20 billion naira to build a 20,000 conference center, is that creating value for the states? Those are things we need to look at. States, thirdly, should free up funds for local governments to achieve autonomy and improve governance at the grassroots level. We've been hearing it rhetorically, it's time it's practiced and implemented. Fourthly, states should synergize efforts at the region to build robust hubs, to enhance competitiveness. And a good example of this is the Southwest region, where we're seeing so much happen in that regard. And finally, states should take the issue of security at subnational level very importantly, and that several states are taking up various initiatives to secure their states. Security is very important. Not just the federal, but states have to work together to improve security for investments and stability. Well, those are interesting insights on the SFTS, and we'll just put a voice today on that. That'll be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. Now, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions, I guess you must have because about states. On this state's fiscal transparency, accountability, sustainability program, you must have not heard about it. Now you want to get to know more about it. Please send them to otobasi.abaseko@prochange.com. We will respond to you appropriately around these developments. But also join our website, www.prochange.com, because we have wide coverage in our articles and stories and activities of what states and local governments are doing. Get to our website, you will learn more. You can also engage us via our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Don't forget this period that it's a challenging time, but you can put a smile on someone's face. You can also be there to support each other. Till you come your way again, thank you for watching and have a nice day.